Let's talk about something we all think about and rarely admit out loud. Balance. We're constantly juggling our work, relationships, health, and passions, trying to keep everything in the air like an ambitious circus act. Deep down, don't you feel like sometimes you're running out of steam? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't give 100% to everything at once? That's where the 4 burners theory comes in. When I first heard about it, it felt like something had peeked into my brain and put into words something I'd been wrestling for years. It's this idea that life is like a stove with 4 burners. Each burner represents a major area in your life: work, family, health, and friends. The catch? You only have so much gas to power those burners. So if you keep all 4 going at full blast, you'll eventually run out of fuel. The theory suggests that to truly excel, you have to turn down one burner or turn it off completely. It sounds harsh, doesn't it? Like a cruel reminder that you can't have it all. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized how much sense this made. Let me explain. The illusion of having it all. How many times have you heard the phrase, "you can have it all"? It's become a cultural mantra, accompanied by images of people effortlessly excelling at work, maintaining perfect relationships, staying fit, and somehow having the time to bake cookies for the neighborhood. It sounds great, but let's be real. It's not exactly achievable. For the longest time, I believed that having it all was not only possible, but expected. I thought balance meant excelling in every area all at once, dominating at work, being a great friend, staying healthy, and dedicating meaningful time to family. On the surface, it looked like I was managing, but underneath, I felt exhausted and constantly felt like I was falling short. The problem with this idea of having it all is that it sets an impossible standard. It suggests that anything less than perfection in all areas is failure. But life simply doesn't work that way. Time and energy are a finite resource, and when we try to do everything, we end up overcommitted, overwhelmed, and unable to give our best at anything. I used to blame myself when I couldn't keep up with all the burners at full flame. I thought, if others can do it, why can't I? But the truth is, no one can. The images of people having it all that we see on social media or hear in success stories are curated highlights, not full reality. No one is giving 100% to everything all the time. That's where the 4 burners theory comes in to provide clarity. It shows that life is about trade-offs. To succeed in one area, another might need to take a back seat for a while. This isn't failure, this is a choice. Letting go of the illusion of having it all is freeing. It allows you to redefine balance as something that shifts depending on your priorities. Some seasons might be work heavy, while others might focus on family or health. The key is to be intentional about where your energy goes rather than stretching yourself too thin. Having it all doesn't mean doing it all at the same time. It means making thoughtful choices about what matters most in the moment. Once you let go of the myth, you stop chasing perfection and start focusing on what truly aligns with your goals and values. And that's where the real life balance begins. Turning down the burners. Sometimes you have to turn down parts of your life to focus on things that truly matter the most. It's not easy and it's rarely fun, but the truth is you can't keep all 4 burners, work, family, health, and friends, running at full power without burning out. Turning down a burner isn't about failure. It's about focus and prioritization. The hardest part is the guilt. When you lower the flame on friendships or put health on the back burner, it can feel like you're letting yourself or others down. But trying to keep everything running at full capacity often leads to mediocrity in all your areas. 4 burners theory challenges us to accept that we can't excel at everything all the time. And you know what? That's okay. Turning down a burner doesn't mean shutting it off entirely. It means adjusting how much energy you give to a particular area. For example, if work takes priority during a busy season, you might scale back your social life to quickly check in with friends instead of weekly hangouts. If family becomes your focus, your fitness routine might shift to a shorter, more manageable workout. Communication is key. Letting people know your temporary shifting focus can maintain a relationship and show that your priorities are intentional, not neglectful. And remember, this isn't permanent. The 4 burners theory is dynamic. You can adjust the burners as your priorities change. By turning down certain burners, you're giving yourself the chance to truly excel in areas that matter most right now. It's not about making thoughtful, intentional choices and understanding that balance doesn't mean doing everything. It means focusing on what's important at this moment. The power of prioritization. Life constantly pulls us in different directions: work, family, health, and friends. And it's easy to feel like you have to give everything 100%, but that's a recipe for burnout. The power of prioritization lies in recognizing that you can't do everything at once. Instead, it's about making intentional choices about where you focus your energy, your understanding, and that some areas will have to take a backseat temporarily. Prioritization starts with accepting that not all tasks or areas of your life carry the same weight all the time. Some reasons call for pouring more energy into the burner while letting others simmer. This doesn't mean that you're abandoning responsibilities. It means you're being deliberate about what matters the most right now. now. Without prioritization, it's easy to spread yourself so thin that nothing in your life gets their full attention or effort. So when I was in my early stages of building Blakebill, I had to make some tough decisions about my priorities. Work took center stage. I was developing features, I was managing customer inquiries, and I was planning platforms growth. It was an all-consuming process, and as much as I wanted to keep up with everything in my life, I knew that I couldn't. You know, my social life took a hit, and my workouts became shorter and less frequent. It wasn't ideal, but you know what? It was necessary. What I learned during the time was that prioritization isn't forever. It's fluid. Once Blakebill reached a stable place, I shifted focus back to my health and relationships, giving those areas the attention they deserved. Prioritization allowed me to excel where it was most needed at the moment, without permanently sacrificing other parts of my life. Another lesson was letting go of guilt. Saying no to certain things, whether it's social media or a low priority ask, doesn't mean you're failing. Every time you say yes to something important, you're inherently saying no to something else. By focusing on what truly matters, you're making the best use of your limited time and energy. Prioritization also helps you identify what actually moves the needle. Not everything you do on your list is equally important, and not every opportunity deserves your attention. When you focus on the tasks and relationships that align with your goals, you create meaningful progress instead of wasting time on distractions. The key is to regularly assess your priorities. Life changes, and so do your needs and goals. By checking in with yourself weekly or even daily, you can make adjustments and ensure your energy is going to the right places. The power of prioritization lies in its ability to give you clarity and control. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the right things at the right time. For me, learning to prioritize meant building a business I'm proud of while staying connected to what's most important in my life. It's not perfect, but it's progress, and that's enough. The myth of balance. We're often told find balance, as if life is a perfectly managed equation where work, health, family, and friendships and get all the equal attention. It's a comforting idea, but the truth is, this kind of balance doesn't exist. Life isn't static, and trying to give everything equal weight all the time often leads to exhaustion and guilt. For years, I chased this myth, believing I could excel in every area if I just managed my time better. But no matter how carefully I planned, I felt stretched too thin, never fully present in any part of my life. That's when I realized that true balance isn't about doing everything equally, it's about shifting your focus to what matters most at the moment. Priorities change with life seasons. Sometimes works need more attention, other times family or health takes precedence. This ebb and flow isn't failure, it's reality. The myth of balance pressures us to feel guilty when one area demands more energy, but refraining balance as a prioritization can free us from that burden. Social media amplifies this myth, showing people who seem to juggle everything effortlessly. But behind every curated post, there are trade-offs. No one is perfectly balanced, and you know what? That's okay. Balance isn't about perfection, it's about being intentional and flexible where your energy goes. By letting go of the idea of constant balance, you can stop chasing the impossible and focus on what truly matters right now. Real balance isn't static, it's dynamic, and it evolves as your priorities shift. Accepting this allows you to live the greater clarity and peace, free from pressure of trying to do it all. Making peace with sacrifice. Sacrifice often feels like loss, but in reality, it's making intentional trade-offs. Every choice we make requires giving something up, whether it's time, energy, or attention, so we can focus on what matters most. Sacrifice isn't failure, it's clarity. It's recognizing that you can't give 100% to everything at once and being okay with prioritizing what needs your attention now. Letting go of guilt is the key to making peace with sacrifice. Saying no to one thing doesn't mean you're neglecting it forever. It means you're temporarily shifting focus. If work demands your energy, your social life might take a backseat. If health is your priority, you might skip a late night outings with friends. These choices aren't about deprivation, they're investments in the areas that matter most at the moment. Honest communication can ease the discomfort of sacrifice. Letting friends or family know you're in a busy season and that it's not permanent can help maintain those relationships. Most people understand when you're upfront about these priorities. Sacrifice isn't about shutting out parts of your life forever, it's about adjusting your focus as life changes. By making peace with it, you free yourself from the pressure to do it all and allow yourself to thrive where it counts. Sacrifice isn't about losing, it's about making space for what matters the most. Finding your balance. Balance is often seen as giving equal attention to work, family, health, and friends, but that version of balance is rarely achievable. It's exhausting and unrealistic to excel in every area of life simultaneously. True balance isn't about dividing your time equally, it's about aligning your energy with current priorities and adapting as those priorities shift. To find balance, start by identifying what's most important right now. Be honest about what your goals are and accept that not everything can be a top priority. When you focus on what truly matters, you can make decisions about where to direct your energy. Balance also requires flexibility, and what works today might need to change tomorrow. Family issue, a work deadline, or a health goal might demand more attention, and that's okay. Balance is about adjusting as life evolves. It's also important to let go of that guilt. The idea that you shouldn't be able to excel in every area is just all the time unrealistic. When you give yourself permission to focus on one area, you free yourself up from the pressure to try to do it all. For instance, during the busy work season, balance might mean prioritizing your job while scaling back on social events or simplifying your fitness routine. Once that season ends, you can shift your focus back to those areas. Finding balance also requires self-reflection. Checking in with yourself helps ensure that your actions align with your priorities and allows you to adjust as needed. Balance isn't static. It's about being intentional, flexible, and being able to change as life demands. The true balance comes from living in alignment with what matters most to you, not chasing an impossible ideal. Embracing the burners. The four burners theory reminds us that we can't give every area of life, work, family, health, and friends equal attention all the time. While this might seem limiting, it's actually really freeing. Embracing the burners means recognizing life is about shifting priorities and making intentional choices, not chasing perfection. Each burner represents the important part of your life, but they won't all demand full attention simultaneously. Some seasons may call for turning up work burner and during a big project for a career change, while letting your friends burner simmer in the background. Other times, family or health may take center stage. The key is flexibility, adjusting your energy as life evolves. This doesn't mean permanently neglecting any part of your life. Turning down a burner temporarily allows you to give your best to what matters most at the time right now. Once that season ends, you can shift your focus to other areas. For example, if your work life has been your primary focus, turn down the intensity and redirect that energy towards family or health. Embracing the burners isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things at the right time. It's a practical way to manage life's demands and live with purpose, knowing that you are focusing on what truly matters.